Hey everyone, Susie here, and today we're playing a Watcher of Realms. For today's video, we need to answer the question, should you summon this weekend? Alright, so we do have a banner on Sunday. It is for Xena and Brokir. If you are a newer player or someone who's been very unlucky, there's also a holo. So that is something we have to talk about. There is Mari, who is definitely great to get promotions for, and Mariel, who can be a backup healer early on, but is not exactly super exciting. But that is only a one-day banner. However, we do have my favorite event, the 1+1 surprise invocation of spirits as well. And that should be noted that this is spirits. This is a special divine summoning only. This one is not for our rare summoning crystals and diamonds for spirit. This is only divine. So, should you summon this weekend? Who should summon this weekend? Who should save? So honestly, there's no ancient event, so that's not something we'll talk about. But we do need to talk about these because, for one, we don't want to live in FOMO. You want to play the game and enjoy it. For two, we are not trying to avoid leaks these days, which I am all for. I don't like them unless the game is properly presenting them the way they want to. I'm not a fan of leaks, so I'd rather just experience things as they come, as long as the game isn't doing what Raid and Infinite Magic Raid did, which is throwing banners at us constantly during the middle of the week, and then Friday comes and there's more, and then Tuesday comes and there's more, and that kind of a thing I hated with a passion. But in this situation, I kind of like not knowing too much about heroes to come. I'm not gonna say what I know or what I don't know regarding all of that, but let's just look at this week. Let's look at this week, this weekend, and think about what could happen in the future. So everyone wants to save their spirits these days for limited heroes because the limited heroes have proven to be amazing lately, right? I would definitely say a lot of times it's smart to try to go for at least the A1. But does everybody have to try to save 1,000 summons so that way you can try to get an A3 or an A5 or whatever and get unlucky and still end up with an A1 like me? Or A0? I'm kidding, not kidding. No, you don't have to go that crazy with saving these. I think that's a little bit extreme. So personally, I think that any newer player or person that doesn't have like a loaded account with almost every hero and you're only missing a few should summon on the 1+1, because even though a 2x event is an increased chance to pull a legendary in the first place, there's no guarantee, so you could still pull 180 summons before hitting that soft pity and going into 200 to get your legendary, and then you get one, and it might not even be one you want. At least if you have to hit pity, and you'll have double the chances to get heroes you want or don't want. Here, 2 for the price of 1 makes more sense, literally in the sense of surprise invocation instead of crazy invocation with a 2x event. Now, in this game, epic heroes are not boosted during the 2x event, so that's important to note as well. If they were, that might be a different decision. But it doesn't make sense to boost epic rates because this game has more legendaries than like the epic's ratio than a game like Raid that purposefully boosts those specific things as well. So that is, again, another consideration. Now, should anybody pull on the 2x? Like, okay, so here is a reality too. This is a divine summoning banner. This is a 2x divine. So this is where 2x feels more impactful, is when we're talking about divine summons, because a 6% goes up to a 12% chance. So odds are pretty good. However, they have lowered the pity as far as your chances to get a legendary from divines as well, and they lowered the other ones too. And it's not as hard. You know, you don't have to, you're not risking pulling 30 or 40 divines with terrible luck and getting no legendary. That's not an issue anymore. So I think it can be a little bit more risky and go for these crystals. Now, do you need like Brokir? No, but is he still one of the best tanks in the game? Yes. Xena is definitely not a game changer. However, if you care about PvP, she's really cool, right? She has definitely made some arena teams. She's infernal, a really interesting hero here, and I certainly think she could be a strong candidate if you are trying to work on an infernal team for any guild boss type content. So she's definitely someone to consider for that. However, I wouldn't go out of my way to like pull everything. I'm going all in for this banner at all overall. The one thing I would say is, again, a hollow. If your account is missing a hollow, even if you have Elowen, you still might want a hollow because her range is so much better. Not when you see it there, but when you see it here. So hollow gives you this amazing huge range that allows you to boost the rage for everybody so much easier and have everybody covered and heal everybody, versus if you bring in Elowen as your only healer in Guild Boss and she's boosting the rage, she doesn't cover everyone for the healing and dispel, of course, but for the healing for this conversation's sake, she doesn't cover everybody. She does have her little minion that pops out, but unless you have her like Awaken 5 and all the extra, the timings are better for her little spirit that she summons. You're not going to keep that up all the time to necessarily cover all the heroes you're missing, where Hollow can cover everybody very well and be very consistent as long as you don't build her with crazy healing and she's actually doing more rage boosting. Hollow is still 100% viable for Drake's Chasm and all of that as well. So that's a really good hero to get if you, especially if you don't have another rage booster. So what we're talking about is here, Light of Bliss is activated, applies Rage Regen to all allies in range every 1 second. So Light of Bliss is the ultimate. When triggered, increases the hero's healing multiplier by 25% for 20 seconds and can heal, you know? And then I think there's something... Yeah, each heal restores rage. Her Awaken 1. So that's really cool. And then here, her Awaken 5. Each cast of Light of Bliss increases the efficiency of accumulating rage by 15% until the battle ends, up to 5 stacks. But this is the reason you want to build Hollow with low healing, like not crazy healing, enough to get by and not die. But every heal restores 1% rage. So the more often she is healing with her basic attack, the more often she's boosting rage as well. So if her healing is too good and she fully heals everyone, you're not boosting as often. However, of course, the guild boss hits pretty often, so it's not too big of a deal. But you will notice a more efficient rage boost if you're keeping everybody not fully healed all of the time. So Hollow is a game changer for many accounts. And I definitely think it's worth pulling a few to see if you can get her if you do have a bit of divines stacked up. Otherwise, it's best to probably save for a 2 times with a 15 times on a good banner for your divines, so you're getting double the rates and the chances to pull someone you actually really want to pull. Brokir is not a bad hero to get, so out of all the dwarves especially, they don't really do the dwarves much of a service except for Brokir here. You probably want to get him if you don't have him on your account overall. He's super helpful. Although Oleg and Baron and Rox can probably hang through most endgame content. It's just once you get into the heavy, serious, super endgame PvP and very high competitive, like guild versus guild teams or that you're going up against or whatever, Brokir is definitely a smart one to have. Again, and if you're pushing arena, Xena can be a solid choice, and I'm very curious to try to use her in some other content in the future. I haven't really used her yet myself. I've just seen a lot of fun teams with her involved. But yeah, I think any newer player, yes, you should summon again, especially here. but maybe you hold your divines if you already have a hollow. Unless you just really have nothing for tanks except Oleg because you got him for free and you really need another good tank. You could actually, and you did not get Malvira as well. Brokir would probably be a game changer for accounts that are super unlucky with that, but you can always get Livian, who's a really good tank too, so I wouldn't say pull on this banner only for Brokir, unless you're a champion collector and he's just someone you're missing. And you can afford the extra summons and don't mind pulling a lot of divines. Keep in mind, this is divines, not our crystals and stuff, so it can be a little bit more of a risky decision to pull because we don't get quite as many of that. However, the game has been very generous in giving us a ton of summons and resources, so I think it's really, at the end of the day, pull the heroes you like, which you want to play with. This is a game at the end of the day, right? Right? And yeah, just if you're an endgame person who's trying to be super efficient, your roster is very fleshed out. You have most of the heroes. You probably already have these two heroes as well, like I do. This might be a good time to sit back, relax, save our summons, and wait for the next weekend.